The time is 6 p.m.
Before we call this meeting to order, I'd like to read a declaration from Governor Abbott. On March 13, 2020, Governor Greg Abbott issued a declaration of emergency as a result of the COVID-19 virus outbreak. Subsequently, on March 16, 2020, pursuant to the authority granted in the declaration, Governor Abbott temporarily suspended the application of certain provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, in order to permit telephonic open meetings. This was an effort to mitigate the spread of the COVID-19 virus by avoiding large group meetings while still ensuring continued governmental operations and preserving transparency in the decision-making process. Pursuant to this authority, Tarrant County College District gave notice of its intent to conduct today's board meeting as a telephonic and video conference open meeting. 5 trustees will participate in person for this meeting: myself, Conrad Heed, Ms. Teresa Ayala, Mr. Kenneth Barr, Mr. Greenhill, and Mr. Hornsby. Dr. Diane Patrick and Dr. Gwendolyn Morrison will participate via video conference or telephonically. I'll now call to order the monthly meeting of the Board of Trustees of Tarrant County College of March 25th, 2021. Is there any public comment? There's no public comment, but we will call Ms. Bracken to the podium.
Good evening, President Heed, members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Giovannini. I'd like to call President and Mrs. Heed up to the lectern. They have a presentation to make to the college.
About 2 years ago, Betty and I were at the Main Street Arts Festival in downtown Fort Worth and looking at all the art, and we ran across a very interesting exhibit, a booth that had some artwork that was not only very, very good, but it was something very, very special because every piece of art had a message. It told a story. And it really motivated us, and we enjoyed it. We talked to the artist, Richard Wilson, for 20 or 30 minutes. And I flipped through the various prints that he had there, and there was one that just knocked me between the eyes. And it to me, it was just something so very, very special. I thought it was something that we ought to share with the college. And I showed this to some of the trustees and showed it to some of the staff to see if they got the same impression of it that we did, and they were all in the affirmative. So I'd like to show you the artwork. This to me is the mission of Tarrant County College. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. And these students are lifted up by the hand. And I asked Richard Wilson what the hand was, what he envisioned that hand representing. And he said it was God, family, and community. To me, community, we need to add the word college to it. To me, this is what TCC does. We take our students and we lift them up. We give them the opportunity to achieve whatever dreams that they have, their personal dreams and desires. So I just hope that this gives the same message to all our students. We have given the college 6 of these prints, 5 which will be on campuses in a permanent position, and one of them, this one, is framed a little bit better, and it's designed to go wherever anybody wants it. So if there's a particular function that somebody would like to use this at, they can come and get this and take it and use it. That's the artwork, but the person behind this, Richard Wilson, is tremendous. He was born in a small town in North Carolina. He grew up in a pretty economically challenged family. His father was some of an artist, and Richard picked that up. And when he was 6 years old, that's his biography up on the screen. When he was 6 years old, he started to draw and drew caricatures. And in high school, he was considered the artist of his high school, drawing caricatures of all his friends and so forth. He then went on to Pitt Community College in North Carolina, where he studied graphic art and advertising, and he honed his skills as an artist there. And he was so good that Pitt College employed him as their art teacher for the next 6 years. And then Richard Wilson decided he was driven by his artwork. He wanted to make a living doing that. And so now he travels all over the country exhibiting his artwork. What we didn't know at the Bay Street Arts Festival is that he won Best of Show while he was here in 2019. He won Best of Show in 2018 and won 3 other awards in previous exhibits that he participated in. So Betty and I decided to donate this artwork to the college in the hope that it will help motivate students and give them the same motivating message that this means to me and to Betty. So, Chancellor? Okay. Anyway, thank you, and I hope this achieves what we wanted to achieve. Thank you.
Mr. President, this is Gwen Morrison.
Yes, Gwen.
Since this is Women's History Month, and in the vein of being an equity warrior, could we at least hear Mrs. Heed say hello to us? You can kick me later, Betty.
And Gwen, I appreciate your help and advice on this. I showed this to you 2 years ago, and
it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for a kind gift.
Yeah, Reginald Gates and I have been working on this for 2 years now, so it's just a culmination of that. And if you notice the child on the right, this journey, it's not an easy journey. And if you see the little girl on the right of this picture, her sign is down and she's kind of looking down. It's tough, but they have the opportunity for success. And that's the message he was trying to give in this particular artwork. And the other thing about Richard Wilson is that being a community college graduate and a teacher, he is willing to come to Tarrant County College and talk to our students. And so if we have a particular function that we'd like him to come to, or I think Dr. Madison's maybe considering having him come to speak to some of his students, he would be available. So I hope we make use of that. And Betty, say hello.
Hello, Dr. Morrison. How are you? Thank you.
I'm wonderful, and thank you so much for being with us tonight and for sharing and making this very wonderful gift to not only the board of trustees, but to all of the people of Tarrant County. Thank you, Betty.
Yeah, and Dr. Morrison, I was thinking about your function you have every year with the elders, and you always bring in students.
Absolutely.
I
want to reserve. Yes, I would like to put in my order right now to reserve it for that event. I think I already have a date. I think it's August 5th. It's first Friday in August. So we'll want to put up, I want to get my request in right now. Thank you.
Got it. Okay, we'll go to item 3, board business items and announcements. 3A is approval of work session minutes of the meeting on February 11th, 2021. Any comments, suggestions?
I move for approval. I'll second it.
Move for approval by, second by Mr. Greenhill. Mr. Barr made the motion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 3B, approval of Board of Trustees meeting minutes of February 25th, 2021. Comments, suggestions?
Move for approval.
Move approval.
Second.
Well, I'll thank you.
Motion by approval by, I think, Dr. Morrison, a second by
Mr. Greenhill.
Mr. Greenhill.
Mr. Greenhill. Thank you, Mr. Greenhill. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item C, consideration and approval of order adopting polling locations and amended order of election. Ms. Bracken.
Good evening again. You've previously looked at this election order. The only change this time is that we have now showing the county has decided on the placement of the polling positions. And so you're being asked to vote on a revised order that would include the locations of polling places for the May 1 election. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Questions, comments?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Morrison, a second by Dr. Patrick. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 3D, Trustee Activities. We'll go down the line here, Mr. Barr. None. Ms. Ayala, yes. Here you go.
Thank you. I'm going to report everything in next month. Thank you.
Mr. Greenhill.
I have nothing to report except that the vacancy committee I've gotten some comments and we're working on it, and we'll probably report next at the workshop.
Thank you. Mr. Hornsby.
Nothing really to report, but I would like to thank those students from Tarrant County Southeast Campus that spoke to Representative Thornhill on the executive week, congressional week. Those young people did a really good job of preparing themselves to speak with him, even to one of them having quotes that he had made to ask their question for him to clarify. So I was really proud of them.
Thank you. Dr. Patrick?
To work with the legislative committee on the agenda for this legislative session and focusing on things that we believe will be the most important.
Thank you. Dr. Morrison.
Good evening. I wanted to extend a congratulations and a shout out to the, Student Activities Outreach Department. You know, I recently became a little more active on Twitter, and I saw many wonderful activities and means of engagement and outreach that our different departments utilize to keep in touch with our students. And I was really elated and amazed. And I just wanted to congratulate the staff who, even under this most difficult time, have made extraordinary efforts to continue the work on behalf for and with students. So I appreciate that so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morrison. And I would like to echo Mr. Hornsby's comments on the Community College Day in Austin, when we talked to our legislators with our students, or students talked to our legislators. It was all done virtually, and that was okay, but it wasn't anything like we experienced in the past. And I know Mr. Greenhill feels that very strongly, because when you're down there in Austin with your students in front of your legislator, it makes all the difference. And post-COVID, I certainly hope that we continue that practice. Moving on to item 4, consideration and approval of the consent agenda. And I would like to make the statement that we had a work session 2 weeks ago, and the board and staff communicated on all of these items, not only on the consent agenda, but also on the action items to follow. And it was complete discussions, a lot of good comments, a lot of good questions, and The staff gave us a lot of good answers. So if we seem to be moving quickly through this, it's because we have given each one of these items substantial consideration. So, consideration of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? Move for approval by
approval of consent agenda.
by Mr. Barr.
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Ayala. All in favor, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. And moving on to item 5, consideration approval of individual action items. 5A, consideration approval of use of a cooperative agreement with ABM of Texas, Inc. for district grounds maintenance at select locations in the amount of $205,000 for a period of 5 months. Ms. Alanese.
Yes, good evening. And this is a continuation with the same firm, but through a cooperative agreement for the portion of our grounds maintenance that is outsourced.
Questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion.
So
Motion
moved.
to approve or second?
Motion by Mr. Greenhill, second by Mr. Barr. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 5B, consideration approval of contract with Texas Refrigeration, Inc. for the main thermal system piping installation project on South Campus in the amount of $471,406.81.
This is a continuation of the MEP infrastructure program associated with the bond program. And I'll note that after questions at the work session, we did distribute this week a summary of the proposals that were received and the ranking that was provided. And we'll start to attach those to each agenda item going forward.
Comments, questions?
Move.
Entertain a motion by Mr. Greenhill
So moved. Second.
and a second by Dr. Patrick. All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 5C, consideration and approval of contract with GFC Contracting for the gymnasium renovation and pool equipment at the Northeast Campus Physical Education Building in the amount of $797,878.15.
Yes, and this will add improvements just to an aged, deteriorated space for the locker rooms associated with the gym, as well as pool equipment in the adjacent space. This one you also received via email, a summary of the proposals that were received for this project.
Questions?
I just have a quick question. Ms. Alanese, I believe you clarified previously, but this is used by the community as well, correct?
Yes,
This pool. Okay.
it is.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Barr, second by Ms.
Second.
Ayala.
Yes.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 5D, consideration and approval of job order contract, general contractor pool with master agreements for initial terms of 2 years and the establishment of administrative spending limits.
Yeah, so we had a protracted discussion about this at the work session to make you aware that this has been a practice that's been in place for more than a decade at the college to have an established pool of contractors. And in this instance, they're general contractors. We also have similar pools for the trade groups. We went through a request for proposals to establish a pool of 11 proposed firms. They'll be used for indefinite delivery and indefinite quantity work associated with unplanned projects or things that come up throughout the year, and gives us an array of firms to be able to award those to and complies with the procurement processes.
Questions, comments?
I make a motion to approve.
A motion to approve by Mr. Greenhill, a second
Second.
by Dr. Patrick. All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll now go down to the monthly financial report. Ms. Alanese.
Yes. So in your board packet, you have the monthly financial report, and we continue to track under budget as far as our expenditures go for obvious reasons with the campus closures. So we're at about 47%, even though more than half the year is finished. I will mention on the revenue side with the property taxes, last month I mentioned that as of January to date, we were actually a little bit behind prior year collections. February, everybody caught up, and we're actually about $7 million ahead of collections last February. And so we expect to end the year above budget related to our property tax. We'll have more discussion around that for upcoming years as we, the upcoming year as we talk to the appraisal district about potential lag of impacts with COVID and so on. One thing I do want to mention to you is that we have been notified that our utility contract for natural gas, which is through the General Land Office of Texas, where we get some pool buying benefit from for pricing, that there may be some impacts related to the February storms, akin to some of the concerns that we heard from, you probably heard on the news, for consumers who were on electricity contracts that were tied to the market. We will know tomorrow is when we should receive a bill for that, but they've been giving signals that we may anticipate some pretty significant bills associated with that could be, quite frankly, to the tune of a couple of $100,000, even though normally we only spend under $400,000 a year on natural gas. So I say that to say that there may be an opportunity for us to work actively with the state to figure out how to mitigate or offset that rather than passing it on to the public. We'll have more information tomorrow. And next month we will memorialize what happened and what our advice is in an informational memo for the board. I'll also mention that we went back and looked at the year, and we're going to be well under budget even if this comes to pass in our utility expenditures because of the campus closures. And so obviously it's a manageable thing for us to handle, but wanted to make you aware of it as we continue to work through that with our partners. The other thing is the current term of our natural gas contract is through the end of August, and so we'll spend some time with our consultant understanding if there need to be some additional safeguards. Normally this is a financially appropriate thing for us to be engaged and tied to the market, but obviously this has pointed to some weaknesses. Our team is also working with some other UTD and UTA who have similar arrangements to understand the impacts to them as well. So we'll come back to you with more information, but I wanted you to be aware of that in terms of the financial report.
The governor declared a state of emergency for that period of time. Is there any possibility of funding from that?
Well, I don't know the answer to that yet. Now, all of the consumers that had those implications with the electric contractors, it sounds like they've gotten some relief through the legislature. I don't know if there will be a similar action with this here. So again, once we have a clear picture of how significant the impact is, if it's significant at all. I mean, we hopefully will have that information tomorrow. We'll come back to you with some advice about whether there's some redress that we can achieve. Questions, comments? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Saladis.
You've also got the investment report in your in your packet as well, and it's again, it's still not like where we'd like it to be in terms of earnings, but we will anticipate that by May we'll come back to you with not only some suggestions around our investment policy, but also the advice that we will have implemented to invest our bond proceeds in a way that manages cash flow and hopefully maximizes what we can do within the Public Funds Investment Act.
Questions? Thank you again, Ms. Saladis. We'll move down to item 7, Chancellor's report. Chancellor?
Thank you, Mr. Heed. First, Conrad, Betty, thank you very much on behalf of the college for your generosity. Greatly appreciate it. And I know how much time was put into this, and I'm sure we are going to put it to very good use, as already been indicated. And so thank you very much. It is a gift that we'll keep on giving to others, and that is significant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
On 7A is an update on the exercise of my authority related to the COVID crisis. There were no activities this past month, at least up to the 22nd of March. And again, every other authority that I exercised has already been ratified by the board. There are a number of college accolades that you can see, individual, campus-wide, program-wide. I want to highlight one that I think is just quite significant, and that is in its March issue of the Hispanic Outlook on Education magazine, it named Tarrant County College one of the nation's top 25 community colleges for Hispanics. TCC is ranked number 5 for community colleges with the greatest total enrollment of Hispanic students for 2018-19. Again, this stuff is in arrears, but it is as current as it is. And number 10 in the number of associate degrees awarded to Hispanic students in 2019. These rankings are based on data derived from the Department of Education, its National Center for Education Statistics, and Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System. So this is not a beauty contest, if you will, where we submit what we think is really good. This is in comparison to all other community colleges in the country. This recognition marks TCC's very first appearance on the top 25 community colleges for Hispanics, again, published by the Hispanic Outlook in Education magazine. A significant for the accomplishment for the college, and I certainly want to congratulate all the faculty, staff for that, for this recognition. For it is serving the complete student that really results in these types of outcomes. It is an award to be shared and recognition to be shared by all. You can see recent activities in 7C for me for the last month. Lastly, what I would like to reflect upon, this last year, a little bit over a year ago, we began a journey, and it began day to day, almost hour to hour, as to how we were going to respond to the situation that had arisen, and then became us responding week to week, month to month. Then it became semesters and so on. And we did that in a very methodical manner and held safety and our academic continuity objective foremost in mind. Our students, our employees suffered many hardships and many tragic losses. And certainly we want to recognize that, and we grieve for that. What I want to chat about tonight is that the trends and predictions on both protocol and the vaccination rollout will allow us to open in normal operations for the fall semester. In addition, in the months ahead, I've asked Susan Alanis and Alva LeBlanc to lead the development of the strategy and process to return to work. And so that will be an activity they will engage in the coming months, ready for the fall enrollment. It will be some form of staged rollout, return to work. Not everyone's coming back, the same day. We don't really have the direct answers, but at this point, but what we do have is enough leeway and time to do this in an orderly manner, and we look forward to that. We will continue to monitor that. Should there need to be any change in direction, as we've continued to do. We wanted to do this at this point simply because, yes, the trends and predictions do tell us that this is very possible, very likely, as other institutions are also engaging in the same decision making. Our fall registration begins in the coming weeks, so it'll send a clear message to our students as it relates to the direction of the college for the fall semester. Again, I want to thank everyone for their indulgence, their dedication, their commitment, and the testing that it did for all of us. But I do believe we've come out a lot better. We will do the vetting of lessons learned and see how we might address things differently. But right now, the objective is to open the institution to full operations, normal operations for the fall semester. Thank you, Mr. Heed.
And I would also like to thank the students for their perseverance through all these trials and tribulations. We know that our students have other barriers to their success at TCC, and to add COVID experiences on top of that is just almost unbearable. But I just want to compliment them on on their hard work and their perseverance through all these trials and tribulations. And we also, Chancellor, you might comment on the CARES Act. We did receive substantial assistance for our students from the federal government that certainly helped our students.
Yes, the first go around of the CARES money was a little over 23 million. Close to 15, a little over 15 million of that went directly into students' hands. This next go around of stimulus that I don't know if we received the check yet, but is projected to be a little over 49 million, and the institution has committed at least 35 million of those dollars to go directly into the hands of students.
Fantastic. And could you give us an update on our plans for graduation? You'll challenge me a little bit, but in terms of the exact specifics, but what we are doing is not a traditional graduation. Again, we had to decide this a few months ago, and we did that best on the best information we had. What we are doing, we're contracted to be at Dickey's Arena. We are going to be at Dickey's Arena. We will not be in the bowl, the formal bowl, if you will, so we're not going to have a big, huge normal graduation. What we will have is some staging in groups of students and their families will come into the arena, into the exhibit space area, and we will be awarding degrees, within that flow of people, I guess, if you will. So it's going to be very, very well coordinated for parking people in and out. I think we're intending to begin at 11 a.m. Is that correct, Elva? I think so. We don't quite know how long this is going to last, okay? Because this is a new dance for us, if you will. So if your board members are intending to attend, bring some comfortable things to sit in. Don't mean to make light of it. We will certainly have much more formal information for you when, where, how, and so forth in the coming weeks. Thank you.
The date is May 15th.
Thank you.
Saturday, May 15th.
Okay, we'll now move on to item 8. We have a DGBA appeal from Dr. Phillip Jenkins. Ms.
Thank you, President Heed. Good evening, everybody, members of the board and Chancellor. Pursuant to Board Policy DGBA Local, Dr. Jenkins comes before you tonight to appeal the findings of our outside investigator that the denial of his application for promotion in rank and tenure and his non-reappointment as department chair were not due to his race. Tonight, you're being asked to either uphold the findings of the outside investigator or to refer the matter back to the Chancellor for further consideration. Because the burden is on Dr. Jenkins, the hearing will proceed as follows. Dr. Jenkins will begin by making a 10-minute statement to the board, followed by the college's 10-minute statement. Then Dr. Jenkins will conclude the hearing with his 5-minute rebuttal. Afterwards, you will deliberate in private session to reach a decision, and your decision will be sent to Dr. Jenkins via regular mail. I see Dr. Jenkins is logged in here on the system. Dr. Jenkins, if you're ready, I'll begin your 10-minute timer.
All right, I am ready. And I want to begin by thanking the board for this opportunity to speak to you, the Board of Trustees. So my name is Dr. Phillip Jenkins, and I'm here today because I'm not being heard. I previously filed a Title VII complaint naming South Campus VPAA Dr. Shannon Idiaga and South Campus Dean Dr. Vicki Ann Sorge. In addition, an EEOC complaint of discrimination and retaliation based on race, color, and age were filed against these same individuals. The premise of my claims rests on these points, the following points. First point is, I was denied promotion in rank because of my race. Secondly, I was denied tenure because of race. Thirdly, the South Campus promotes African-American faculty at a lower rate than Caucasian faculty. Fourth, South Campus Dean Vicki Ann Sorge and VPAA Dr. Shannon Idiaga have discriminated against me based on race and created a hostile work environment by permitting individuals in my department to bypass me in my capacity as department chair of the Language Arts Department, and by holding me to a higher performance standard than other similarly situated employees. And fifth, I was removed as department chair of the Language Arts Department because of my race and in retaliation for making a complaint of discrimination. Now, let me elaborate a bit of the details here. On January 25th of 2021, Tarrant County College held an appeal hearing. The panel was selected by TCC and was composed of 3 full-time tenured professors selected from 3 different TCC campuses to hear evidence in accordance with TCC policy. The results. First result. On the claim of discrimination, this panel voted 2 of 3 stated that they voted in my favor, that there was discrimination. Secondly, the second result, on the claim of retaliation, 3 out of 3 voted in my favor regarding the retaliation charges. Following some 12 hours of testimony from witnesses, the following statement was issued in my favor by the panel. The statement reads, quote, "The panel has decided to send both matters back to the Chancellor. The first count of tenure and promotion was a majority decision, and the retaliation concern was unanimous. It was decided that Dr. Jenkins' background was not given enough credit and college actions were inconsistent. Issues of race may be an issue," end of quote. With regard to my claim of retaliation, it says that it was upheld as well by the same panel on January 25th during this meeting. Let me reiterate, they upheld 3 out of 3 unanimously. This panel stated and agreed in my favor, and they made this statement, quote, "On the second issue, we believe the investigator did not explore potential race concerns by ignoring other potential key witnesses that could have supported or refuted Dr. Jenkins's claims," end of quote. Despite these findings, the Chancellor failed to make any mention of discrimination or retaliation charges, which serves as the crux of my complaint. The Chancellor's letter reads as follows. It was dated February 8th of 2021 regarding Dr. Jenkins's appeal. "Dear Dr. Jenkins, I am in receipt of the Tarrant County District Hearing Committee's January 25th, 2021 recommendations for further consideration. Upon review, I affirm the decision to deny your application for promotion in rank and tenure and your non-reappointment as department chair. Sincerely, Eugene Giovannini." In summary, my appearance here today documents the failure of TCC appeal process to successfully serve those seeking due process. The failure of outside investigator Jennifer Sweeney to interview key witnesses, thereby ignoring crucial evidence based on triangulated facts that could have impacted the findings, is an example of this failure. Ms. Sweeney's actions prompted the appeal panel to state, quote, "We believe the investigator did not explore potential race concerns by ignoring other potential key witnesses that could have supported or refuted Dr. Jenkins's claims," end of quote. The decision of the TCC appointed hearing panel is being ignored and overruled by the Chancellor. So why do we even have an appeals process? Why doesn't it just go directly to the Chancellor to make the decision? As I stated, my voice is not being heard. Charges of discrimination and retaliation have been made and supported by the panel, but TCC so far has ignored and are not addressed the fact. My goal is to bring light to the issue of discrimination and retaliation at the South Campus and find a way to make the perpetrators accountable while addressing and fixing the wrongs to which I have been subjected. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. Dr. Shannon Idoyaga will make the statement on behalf of the college. Dr. Idoyaga, if you're ready, I'll start your timer.
Ms. Maddox-Powell, if you can start the timer now, I'll need the 10 minutes, please. Good evening, Chancellor, President Heed, members of the board. My name is Dr. Shannon Idoyaga. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs at the South Campus, where Dr. Phillip Jenkins currently works as an instructor of speech. I'm here tonight serving as the advocate for the college. Tonight, Dr. Jenkins is appealing the college's affirmation that the decision to deny his application for promotion in rank and tenure and his non-reappointment as department chair was not due to his race. In response to these allegations, TCC hired an outside attorney to perform an investigation into Dr. Jenkins's allegations. After a thorough investigation in which 12 witnesses were interviewed, the investigator concluded the findings. Dr. Jenkins's allegation that he was discriminatorily denied promotion in rank and tenure was not substantiated. The investigator found that the evidence showed Dr. Jenkins' applications were denied because he did not meet the policy requirements stated in DLC and DCB local. Dr. Jenkins's allegation that African American faculty members on the South Campus are promoted at a lower rate than Caucasian faculty was not substantiated. The evidence showed that African American faculty members who meet the criteria of DLC local are granted promotion, and 2 of the 3 individuals who received promotion on the South Campus for the academic year that Dr. Jenkins applied for were African American. Dr. Jenkins's allegation that his supervisor, Dr. Ann Sorge, engaged in discriminatory conduct towards him and created a hostile work environment in the course of her supervision of him and as his dean was not substantiated. The investigator found that there was growing conflict between Dr. Ann Sorge and Dr. Jenkins, but neither Dr. Jenkins's race nor any protected activity played any part into how she supervised him. Dr. Jenkins's allegation that I discriminated against him and retaliated against him was not substantiated. The investigator found no evidence that Dr. Jordan discriminated or retaliated against Dr. Jenkins or permitted Dr. Ann Sorge or I to discriminate or retaliate against him. Dr. Jenkins's allegation that he was not reappointed to the position of department chair because of his race and or his prior complaint of discrimination was also not substantiated. The investigator concluded that the evidence showed that Dr. Jenkins was not reappointed as department chair for objective, non-discriminatory reasons, and that Dr. Ann Sorge had expressed concern about Dr. Jenkins's ability to serve in this role before he made any complaint of discrimination. After receiving a copy of the outside investigator's findings, Dr. Jenkins appealed the outcome of the investigation pursuant to DGBA local. In January, Dr. Jenkins presented his appeal to a panel of 3 faculty members. The faculty panel asked the Chancellor to revisit the investigations and the findings as Dr. Jenkins' claims surrounding his denial of his application for promotion in rank and tenure and his non-reappointment of department chair. The Chancellor reviewed the investigator's report together with other evidence and affirmed the college's decision to deny Dr. Jenkins' application for promotion in rank and tenure and his non-reappointment as department chair. Now Dr. Jenkins is asking you to reverse the Chancellor's decision. Let's kind of go over some of the facts as to why Dr. Jenkins' promotion in rank and tenure applications were denied. Dr. Jenkins was hired as a full-time instructor of speech communications in the fall of 2013. In the spring of 2017, Dr. Jenkins applied for promotion in rank from instructor to associate professor for the 2018-2019 academic year. His application requested that TCC promote him 2 ranks, skipping the rank of assistant professor altogether. His new dean at the time, Dr. Vicki Ann Sorge, recommended Dr. Jenkins for promotion in rank. Per DLC local, which governs promotion and rank. An instructor is eligible for promotion and rank to assistant professor if he holds a master's degree or equivalent in the subject field plus 24 semester hours of approved credit completed after the master's degree or equivalent technical experience. Dr. Jenkins did not have the requisite qualifications to be promoted per DLC local policy. Specifically, he does not have the 24 semester hours of approved credit completed after his master's in his subject field, which is speech. Rather, his doctorate is in education. Because his advanced degree beyond his master's is not in a subject field that he teaches, it does not count towards the requisite qualifications for promotion and rank. At the meeting of the VPAAs to review applications, Dr. Jenkins' application packet was reviewed, and it was determined that he did not have the requisite qualifications to be promoted to the rank of assistant professor, let alone 2 ranks to associate professor. As to his request for tenure, because Dr. Jenkins was not promoted to the rank of assistant professor, his request for tenure became moot. Per policy, a faculty member is not eligible for tenure until the faculty member achieves the rank of assistant professor. After his promotion and rank and tenure applications for the 2018-2019 academic year were denied, Dr. Jenkins met with Dr. Jordan and Dr. Ansorge to discuss ways in which he could be promoted in the future. He was told that it would take that he would need to take the 24 hours required per TCC policy and to utilize the tuition reimbursement policies. Then he could reapply for promotion and rank. Later on, when I became the VPAA at the South Campus, I met with the VPAAs regarding Dr. Jenkins' case, and we agreed after careful and thorough analysis to consider 12 hours from his doctorate towards the 24 credits, thereby reducing the number of credits needed. The VPAAs and myself reviewed all of the courses he took as part of his doctorate to see which hours, if any, were to advance his knowledge of pedagogy. We all agreed that 12 hours could be counted as they had a pedagogy component. The goal of the district's tenure and advancement in rank policies and procedures is to ensure that faculty have the highest levels of knowledge in the field in which they teach. Knowledge of pedagogy is an essential part of a faculty member's ability to teach, and therefore is appropriately considered as part of the requirements. With that said, knowledge in one's field of study is by far the most important part of a faculty member's credential. As to the department chair claims, Dr. Jenkins was appointed as the department chair for the Language Arts Department at the South Campus in September of 2015. At that time, South Campus department chairs were appointed for 5-year terms. During his service as department chair, Dr. Jenkins had performance issues within his role. In particular, his performance issues centered around failure to meet deadlines, to which he received many emails from his dean. In addition, Dr. Jenkins received complaints from other department chairs about his performance as a department chair. Despite these complaints and performance issues, Dr. Jenkins was allowed to continue to remain as department chair through the 5-year time period. In 2019, the VPAAs met and decided that department chair roles should be an annual appointment with review by the deans and in consultation with the VPAAs each year. On February 6th of 2020, Dr. Jenkins was notified that his term as department chair was coming to an end and that the role of department chair was now being subject to annual appointments to align with other campuses pursuant to the one college model. Interviews were held for the department chair position, and Dr. Jenkins applied and was interviewed. Another faculty member was selected to serve in this role as department chair. Per the panel conducting the interviews, Dr. Jenkins was not selected because he didn't express a clear plan for the department and said his approach to being a department chair is laissez-faire. Dr. Jenkins was not the only department chair who was not reappointed to this role. Another faculty member, a white male, was also not reappointed as chair at the same time as Dr. Jenkins. In conclusion, I ask that you affirm the Chancellor's decision to uphold the denial of Dr. Jenkins's application for promotion and rank and tenure and his non-reappointment as department chair. Dr. Jenkins is welcome to reapply for promotion and rank and tenure once he obtains the additional hours. Moreover, Dr. Jenkins can reapply to the department chair once the position becomes open again. It's important to remember that the faculty, prior to the promotion and rank, many of those have already completed the required 24 hours. And so it wouldn't be fair to them to allow someone to move forward and not achieve that same standard. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Idoyaga. Dr. Jenkins, if you're ready for your final 5-minute rebuttal, I will start the timer for your final statement.
Yes, thank you again. So in rebuttal to what Dr. Idoyaga just stated, let me clarify a few things. First, my appointment started in 2016. Evidence was presented to Dr. Idoyaga stating that I started in 2016 with a 5-year appointment. This has been ignored constantly. I presented documentation of my start time, and that has been ignored. No other department chairs who started along with me in 2016 were removed from their department chair positions. The individual to whom Dr. Idoyaga refers, then we have no idea. That could be totally unrelated to my start time. I'm not even sure that person started in 2016. But let's focus on the facts. I started 2016. I was removed in the 4th year of a 5-year appointment that we had to interview for, and that I was the only individual. We have individuals on our campus as department chairs who are serving 9 years and working on a 10th year. None of those individuals have been removed to this date, in spite of the fact that Dr. Idoyaga stated that in every February that letters would be going out to individuals in their 5th year, and we're going to a year-to-year evaluation. That has not happened. In fact, we discussed that today in the Faculty Association meeting, that wording is still in play there and nothing has been done on that yet. So let me also clarify that of the individuals to whom Dr. Idoyaga refers that applied for promotion in rank and tenure, there were 4 individuals from the South Campus, 3 African-American, 1 Caucasian. All 3 African-American individuals were denied upon their first application, subsequently reinstated after going back to the president and for appeal, where the white candidate went right through without any type of problem. So let me repeat that. 3 of those individuals that were African-American on the South Campus were rejected initially, and they had to go back, and I was one of those 3. The other 2 applied and were accepted again, and I was not. So let me cover my background just briefly. I have a PhD in education. It's not unrelated to what I do. I educate every day. That's what we do. I educate in the classroom. So that's all pedagogy. I have a master's degree in speech communication. I have a second master's degree in counseling. My corporate experience includes working at Walt Disney Productions under the tutelage of Irving Ludwig, who was handpicked by Walt Disney himself. In addition to this, I've worked at 20th Century Fox Films in Washington, D.C., Detroit, Michigan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and New York City. My work includes negotiating the licenses for 2 George Lucas films, including Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, and some 25 other films, including numerous Academy Award-winning movies. Despite this background, I struggle to get past the level of instructor, while others with far less in terms of credentialing are promoted up the ladder. Even Dr. Curé, who was one of the witnesses, stated when asked that during this panel discussion, that yes, even if we couldn't skip 2 ranks, then why wasn't he given at least 1 rank promotion, and wasn't he qualified? And she did say yes. That was one question she would ask as well. And she does credentialing, or had in the past before she retired. Despite this background, I struggle to get past this level. The fact is that there are no African-American deans on the South Campus, and my demotion as department chair underscores the fact that there are no African-American department chairs on that South Campus. The fact is, according to a January 27, 2020 memo, there have been 7 individual South Campus cases of individuals claiming to have been discriminated and or retaliated against. And there was even a meeting held with the attorneys on campus to discuss this. What has been done to address this issue? The fact is, the panel has spoken and they have stated, quote, the first count of tenure and the promotion was a majority decision and the retaliation concern was unanimous. It was decided that Dr. Jenkins's background was not given enough credit and college actions were inconsistent. Issues of race may be an issue. The fact is, the panel has stated, quote, on the second issue, we believe the investigator did not explore potential race concerns by ignoring other potential key witnesses that could have supported or refuted Dr. Jenkins's claims. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. And that concludes this appeal hearing. Thank you all for your participation. And now the decision will be made in closed session, again, as I stated earlier. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you. We will now have a brief 5-minute recess and we'll go into closed session. We will now reconvene in open session. There being no decisions to be made by the board, we will now adjourn. Thank you all.
Good night.